Over the past decade, the sport of bowling has made striking progress internationally with appearances as an exhibition sport in the 1988 Olympics and as a medal sport in the Pan Am and World Games. More than 10,000 of America's best amateur bowlers compete annually for a position on the team which will represent their country. Today, from Southtown Bowl in Bloomington, Minnesota, Prime presents the final round of the Team USA National Roll-Offs. And welcome to Bloomington, Minnesota, where tonight 3 men, new members of 1995 Team USA, roll for the National Amateur Championship. Hi, everybody. It's great to have you with us. I'm Bob Dolan with tonight Team USA coach Fred Borden. Fred, it's great to have you with us.
Good to be here with you, Bob.
Now, what a week this has been. Why don't you tell us, first of all, Coach, about the format here in Bloomington?
Bob, we had bowlers from across the United States. All 50 states show up here at the starting of the week. We start out with 24 games of qualifying on 3 demanding Team USA conditions. We cut the field to the top 24 players. They bowled head-to-head match play to round it out to the top 6 who are now the 1995 Team USA.
Yeah, let's take a look at those, our 1995 Team USA men members. And Fred, let's talk about each one individually. And let's start with number 6, Ed Roberts.
Ed is the bowling school teacher. What a nice player. Accuracy is his game. We're looking forward to having a year with him.
Our number 5 qualifier is Brian Fedro.
Brian Fedro, a San Jose State product, and he's just a treat to watch play. He can really play the game.
Now, our number 4 qualifier, an interesting story, because not only, Fred, is he one of your coaches, now all of a sudden he's one of your players.
He was a player. We fell in love with this man as a person. He became a coach. Now he's a player again, so he'll take a year off from coaching, and he'll be back throwing a lot of strikes. He's a great bowler.
Now, we will see tonight our top 3 qualifiers. They will roll for the National Amateur Championship, 3 versus 2, and then the winner, of course, against our number 1 seed. Our number 3 seed is Mark Van Meter.
Mark Van Meter was one player that played the outside line all week. A real straight, heavy roll shot, played the outside line, the only player to do that all week long.
Number 2, boy, have we seen this guy before, huh? Chris Barnes is back.
Maybe the hottest amateur player in the world. Just won $63,000 at the High Rollers. The players really respect this man. He'll be hard to beat.
Now they're going to have to beat our number 1 qualifier, Pat Healey Jr.
You know, he was a national amateur champion in '91. He's the man that got to win the gold medal in front of Fidel Castro. He's got the guts. He's got the experience. That'll be a heck of a match.
This National Amateur Championship is the most prestigious title an amateur bowler can win, and one of these 3 men will win it right here tonight. We're glad you're with us. Our semifinal match is coming right up. Stay with us. The championship round of the Team USA National Finals is brought to you by the American Bowling Congress. Championship service to bowlers since 1895. Make sure your league is ABC sanctioned. By DBA Pro Grip, the official lane equipment supplier to USA Bowling and manufacturers of the Pro Grip Air Shot, the first and only bowling glove with inflatable air support. By Lynn Shoes, for the performance approach, it's American-made Lynn Shoes, the choice of better bowlers worldwide. By the National Bowling Stadium, rolling into the 21st century in the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. And by USA Bowling, recognized by the United States Olympic Committee as the national governing body for the sport of bowling. Welcome back to Southtown Bowl in Bloomington, Minnesota, to the 1994 National Amateur Championships. Bob Dolan and Team USA coach Fred Borden with you. The top 3 qualifiers for the 1995 Team USA, Pat Healey, Chris Barnes, and Mark Van Meter, will roll for the National Amateur Championship. In this first match, it's a 1-game match. The winner will move on to take on Healey. This is Mark Van Meter in the first, and he starts out well, Fred.
Mark is a short backswing player, you'll notice, and very accurate with a nice smooth roll on the ball. And now you're going to watch Chris Barnes, the athletic player, the big backswing. Complete opposite styles here, Bob.
Barnes, this is his 2nd time on Team USA, a repeat member. And last year, Fred, as you well know, he lost the National Amateur Championship match to Robert Smith.
Yes, it was really a heart-sickening loss for him because he led all week long and lost on the one-game final on television. In fact, I rode in his car the other day and he had a little sign on his dashboard that said "Finish the job."
Really?
I said, "Chris, what is that?" He says, "I'm here to finish the job."
Is that right? So it is hung with him for the entire year. That defeat last year in the National Amateur Championship match. First frame for Barnes, and he gets the spare. So Barnes against Van Meter. Barnes is our number 2 qualifier, and Van Meter, of course, qualifying number 3, and the winner will take on our number 1 qualifier, Pat Healey Jr. Barnes at just a young age, 24 years old, Fred, but already has accomplished so much in the sport.
He's been coached by Gordon Vatican, by Pat Henry, a couple of the greatest coaches in the world of bowling.
The strike for Barnes in the left-hand lane. We're on lanes 45 and 46, the championship pair. And now Mark Van Meter, 41 years old, first-time Team USA member from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Mark reminds me a little bit of the great Ray Bluth in his finish here, in his slide.
Looking for 2 in a row, goes Brooklyn and gets it. So Van Meter with a pair of strikes to open up the semifinal. Van Meter was 17-7 in the match play round.
Very steady, Bob. Very steady all week. You had to beat him because he didn't bowl many low scores. He bowled very steady right at that 2.5 pace.
Looking for 3 in a row, and he get it. Mark Van Meter. If there is a perfect game on television, it's worth $25,000 to the man who rolls it. Plus, the people in the crowd have a stake in that too, because everyone coming in here tonight got a ticket with a bowler's name on it, and if their bowler rolls a perfect game, the spectators will split $25,000.
I forgot to get one of those tickets.
Yeah, I did too.
Darn it.
They refused to give me one.
Uh-oh.
Barnes in the third.
It was a great shot. Just that soft 10 little, all week long, that's been the pin for Chris. Watch this. Ball gets into the swing early. He's right down into the swing on the second step. Right out and down. Big backswing. Watch, a left foot plants, and here comes the big swing, the kick of the right leg. A big athletic game.
And the spare in the third for Barnes, but he's down by 20 early to Mark Van Meter. Now, Fred, you've been with Chris Barnes certainly the last full year as a member of last year's Team USA. When any game gets to this level, what more can a coach do?
I'll tell you, you just stay with them. The little changes in the game, the emotions, you work with the emotions, work with new bowling balls and new pin positions, and make sure they keep their head clear to play at a real high level.
Fourth frame for Barnes, and he's got 2 in a row on that left-hand side. And now back to Mark Van Meter.
Look at this ball roll. Watch this thing. Flush it up right here.
Van Meter has 3 in a row, and he's up by 20 early in the semifinal. We'll be right back. Van Meter against Barnes, the winner against Healey Jr. for the National Amateur Championship. 4 in a row. Yes, 4 in a row for Van Meter.
As you can see, Mark's playing off the corner. It's all accuracy. It's roll. It's not the big swing. Watch the short backswing now. And the point right up off the corner. Just short backswing, roll it straight up. It's accuracy. Everybody's into the big hook. Accuracy is still the name of the game, with a nice, soft, smooth hook to the pocket.
He sure is from the old school, as you like to say, huh, Fred?
Yes, he is. He can really make shots. Here's 30 pin difference now between Chris and Mark. It's a big shot here.
Now,
shot here.
When Van Meter, Fred, came back from that last strike, Chris Barnes got up and they spoke to each other. Why would they be speaking in the middle of a match like this? Well, even their teammates, or are they even helping each other in a situation like this?
Just had a little technical difficulty here with the ball return. So
the high qualifying averages for 24 games. There's Chris Barnes right on top, and of course our defending national amateur champion Robert Smith right behind him at 208. High qualifying games, our number 1 seed Pat Healey with a 279. Ed Stimpfer 278. Pat Healey Jr., there he is on top again. High match play average, a 209, tied with the man we're watching right now, Mark Van Meter. John East with 207. East, a member of Team USA also. Again, the 1995 Team USA has been determined. Pat Healey Jr., high qualifying game, 279 again. It's Healey, Barnes, Van Meter, East, Fedro, and Ed Roberts are the members of this new team. David Hurt, a 278, the high match play game from Lafayette, Indiana. Now we're ready again. Mark Van Meter with 4 in a row, and the lead over Barnes, looking for 5. Got it!
This is almost a must strike right here for Chris Barnes. Even though it's early in the match, he's down 40 pins. He's got to put the pressure back on. Now, if he doesn't strike here, then that just takes the pressure right off of Mark, and he can just keep on stringing him. So this is a key shot early in the match.
What is Barnes like, Fred, when he has to come from behind?
He is just a great player. It doesn't matter in the lead. He just focuses and makes shots.
And he got the must strike. He'll take that.
That's what happens when you have a certain roll on your ball, Bob, that real heavy roll. This ball's way high in the pocket. Watch this. Look at the look in his eye. Look at this. Oh, no. He sees the shot go high, and then he gets the break. That was a key shot. Now let's see if he can keep his composure here, focus back up, and make a great shot right here.
That's 2 in a row now for Barnes. Looking for 3. Left side lane, got it. He's perfect on lane 45. And now suddenly all the spectators, Fred, with Mark Van Meter on their ticket, are holding their breath a little bit.
Isn't that the truth? $25,000 here in the wings if he can keep these strikes going. Now the match is back to 20. Chris has put the pressure back on. This is the lane where he crossed over. Let's see if he can do it again on this shot.
Looking for 6. No. And a fine round of applause for Mark Van Meter, who begins the semifinal with 5 in a row.
If you notice, Mark's a 4-step player. Chris is a 5-step player. Mark is a short backswing player playing an outside line. Chris is a high backswing player playing an inside line. And they're both here vying for the championship.
And Van Meter the spare in the 6th. A 19-pin lead for Mark Van Meter. Van Meter, his goal when he came here this week, Fred, is the goal of many, just to make the team. But he says, hey, now that I'm here, now that I have a shot at it, why not?
Let's take it all the way off the sheet, huh?
You better believe it. A bit of trouble here in the 7th.
A little chink in the armor there. Let's see, that heat and pressure sort of gets to you after a while, but he'll make this split. He had the highest serves in the nation, 859 in 1978. This guy's used to shooting high scores, and he's used to throwing shots under pressure.
Here's one tonight in the semifinal, and he got it. Well done from Van Meter in the 7th.
That's where the accuracy comes in.
Van Meter and Barnes hooked up in a dandy here in the semifinal. The winner, of course, gets Pat Healey Jr. We'll be right back. The executive director of USA Bowling.
What a great guy to work with, I'll tell you. This guy works so hard for our sport. He's really a great executive director. He's a lawyer by trade, and very smart, very organized, very good man.
Well, the momentum has switched here a little bit, hasn't it, Fred, in the semifinal?
This is the shot can really switch that momentum right here.
Van Meter, of course, still with the lead, but Barnes has struck 3 in a row and looking for 4. Well, if he's had trouble tonight, Fred, it's been on this right-hand side, lane 46.
Yeah, that surprised me a little bit because he pulled it out of the top of the backswing a little on that shot. And usually that's Chris's biggest thing that he does. The best thing he does in his game is he waits on that big swing and just rolls it through. So that was a little bit of a surprise there.
Big spare here for Barnes. And that one hurt. And he knows it.
Now, here's that shot where this starts down. As it starts down, right here he grabs hold. You see the grab and the snap and the pull? That's what pulls the ball left. An early hit instead of waiting for it to pass your ankle and then drop the thumb and hit the fingers.
Barnes Barnes in the hole now, and he strikes in the 8th. And boy, lane 45 has been very good to him, the left-hand side.
That really takes some real composure to throw that shot, to throw the open frame, to collect your thoughts and get back and set up the 8th frame. This match is far from over.
Van Meter leads it by 32. And big ball here in the 8th for Mark Van Meter. And he got it to go. A 32-pin lead after 8 for Van Meter in the semifinal. The winner gets Pat Healey Jr. next for the National Amateur Championship. In the 9th for Van Meter, another one.
He's done it all week. This man finished 5th in the Masters. He led the Masters at one point here.
What's Barnes thinking right now, Fred? Obviously, he must strike.
He's just thinking about one shot at a time. Let's come back, throw the shot, and then let's see what happens on in the first shot in the 10th.
Beautiful. What adjustment did he make there, Fred? There's the same right-hand lane.
I'll tell you, all he did was go for feel. Feel the swing. Allow the swing to execute through. That's what's so hard in our sport, is to keep that emotion under control in the heat of the battle.
Into the home stretch, the 10th frame, Van Meter by 32. Both working on a double. But that open from Barnes earlier.
He needs to throw the first 2 and 9, put the heat on Mark to spare or Mark in the 10th.
And remember, it was Barnes's choice, Fred, if he finishes or if Van Meter finishes first, because Barnes, as the number 2 seed, gets to make that decision.
You know, he never got on track. Mark went out there through the first 5. Chris never really got dead on track pretty soon. In a one-game match, anything can happen. He bowled great all week. He can be proud of himself. He's one of the finest young players in the world of bowling.
Well, you wonder how hard this will hit him, because as he told you, he's thought about losing last year's championship game for a full year. He's
a winner. This man's a winner. He'll bounce back. He's going to win a lot of tournaments in his lifetime. I'll guarantee you that. He's just a great player.
And when all is said and done, here he is again, member again for 2 years in a row, Team USA.
Yes. We'll just go win the World Cup.
That'll make him feel better.
Yeah, we'll win the Pan American individual title, so he'll reset his goals, I'm sure.
He will, very quickly. Here is your semifinal winner, Mark Van Meter, 41 years old. He's a professional bowler for 11 years, from the early 70s to the early 80s. Well, if there's ever a good time for that.
Yes, the bowling gods was watching over him. There's something about that. With the round objects hitting round objects. These pins do some funny things.
Yes, they do, don't they? Well, let's look ahead briefly, Fred. Van Meter against Pat Healey Jr.
Well, Pat Healey will come out with some fire in his eyes. He's a real fierce competitor. He's a real feel player, and it'll be a match and a half.
I think our matchup. It's 232 to 213, the final for Mark Van Meter.
Yes.
He wins it by 19, so it will be Van Meter against Pat Healey Jr., our number 1 qualifier for the National Amateur Championship. Let's take a look at some of our other qualifiers here at the National Amateur Championship event in Bloomington, Minnesota. Our alternates, Bob Goyke, and there's Robert Smith, our defending National Amateur Champion. 9 and 10, Pete Partridge, as you know, Fred, a member of the 1994 team, so on down the list.
Had some great players here all week long. This David Weimer, boy, what a nice young player he is. Nick, I'll tell you what, from Detroit, that's a bowling hotbed of the world, and this guy's one of the players from that area that can really play.
13 and 14.
Charlie Del Plato, another man over 30 years old, and David Hurt from Lafayette, Indiana. What a good bowler. What a precision player he is. He's worked hard his game for a lot of years.
This was sure the cream of the crop here this week, wasn't it?
Yep, Sam Lanto. What a great player he is from right here in Minnesota. Had a big following here this week.
Chuck Toy, 16th.
Ron Moore, the air traffic controller from Eagle River.
You know, he spent 30 hours in airplanes and in airports just to get here, and he finished 17th.
Eric Cox, what a nice young bowler this gentleman is from St. Petersburg, Florida.
Rounding out the top 20.
Craig Harrington, Scott Santo, quit his job.
William Ripley, 21st. And rounding out the match play field at 24, Tony Manna Jr. and Kevin Dornberger. We'll be back in just a few minutes. It's going to be that man, Mark Van Meter, heading on to the finals against Pat Healey Jr. We'll be right back. It began as an architect's vision, but now the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada is becoming a reality. The exterior was finished a month ahead of schedule, and soon the first bowlers will step inside. And when they do, they'll find the ultimate tournament experience. Grandstand seating for 900 fans, 80 lanes, and the world's largest scoring screen, 440 feet long. Without leaving the stadium, bowlers can visit the stadium's sports retail store or eat at Ruby's Diner. There's even an Omnimax movie theater inside the building's symbolic bowling ball. The 1995 ABC Tournament will be the first event held in the new facility, and Assistant Director Jerry Smith says the response from bowlers has been phenomenal.
To open the stadium will be the ABC Tournament, which already is their largest tournament. They're going to be accepting applications up until January 1st, and we're looking at 80,000 to 100,000 participants. After the ABC, we'll be hosting the FIQ tournament, where we'll have bowling teams from all over the world that will come to Reno and use the stadium for their world event.
That FIQ World Tournament will be broadcast live on network television, allowing viewers to see our sport against the backdrop of this impressive stadium.
The stadium itself has taken bowling from a neighborhood sport and activity to something that is international, that is prestigious, and the bowlers will appreciate every aspect of the stadium.
Each year, members of Team USA travel to Colorado Springs to participate in training at the United States Olympic Training Facility. Athletes work on a variety of aspects, both physically and mentally, to enhance their performance on the lanes. Here's a member of Team USA's coaching staff with today's tip, brought to you by Ebonite, where advanced technology has striking results.
Hi, I'm Michelle Mullen, coach at Team USA. Earlier this year, our United States team trained at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. One of the things that we talked about was selecting the equipment and adjusting your normal hand and wrist position to match the lane condition. The first most important factor in selecting equipment is the surface of the bowling ball. On an oilier lane, you want to use a duller surface bowling ball, and on drier or hooking lanes, you want to use a shinier surface bowling ball to get it down the lane. Another key factor in adjusting to the lane condition is adjusting your normal hand and wrist position to the condition you're playing on. Using this ball to demonstrate when the lanes are oilier and you're playing straighter down the lane, you want to be a little bit more on the side of the ball with a relaxed wrist position. On drier lanes, you want your hand a little bit more behind the ball and your wrist in a little bit firmer position in order to create maximum hitting power. In between may be where your hand needs to be to adjust to the type of condition that you're playing on. Other important areas in adjusting to lane conditions include bowling ball construction, such as 2-piece and 3-piece bowling balls, along with weight distribution or imbalance, tolerating a maximum of 3 ounces top or bottom weight, 1 ounce side weight, and 1 ounce finger weight. Obviously, these are more technical areas of the game, and you need to consult with your local pro shop operator in designing your equipment.
Coming up very soon from Bloomington, Minnesota, the match for the National Amateur Championship, Pat Healey Jr. against Mark Van Meter. But right now, our Sportsmanship Award and a word from Elaine Hagan.
It's a great pleasure for me on behalf of the American Bowling Congress to present this award, a Sportsmanship Award, to Ed. He worked all week as a hard bowler, but during those times he was always a congenial and great athlete, and all of his fellow athletes feel that he deserves to be the Sportsman of the Year this year.
Thank you. It was an honor to be here this week. It was very exciting making the team. but this is the biggest thrill of the week for me. I want to thank all the bowlers for voting for me. Thank you.
There is Elaine Hagan in the crowd, the first vice president of the USA Bowling and also first vice president of WIBC, and we also had a chance to talk with her before the match tonight. We are in between matches here in Bloomington, Minnesota, and Elaine Hagan, the first vice president of the WIBC and also the first vice president of USA Bowling, has some exciting news regarding our upcoming season of the Brunswick World Team Challenge Series. Right, Elaine?
Right, Bob. And you know, that's an understatement because this is the first time that the Women's International Bowling Congress is going to be involved in the World Team Challenge, and it is indeed going to be quite an occasion for us to be part of it.
Now we have 3 events, correct? All for women only.
For women only, we'll be developing also a prize fund for women only. We'll be starting out in January, and it'll be located, that event will be in Las Vegas, Nevada, and then we'll move in April to Indianapolis, Indiana, and then finish in Baltimore, Maryland in June.
Well, that's great news. It's good to have you on board.
Thanks. We're delighted to be here.
Now our amateur championship match. Fred Borden, the head coach of Team USA, and Bob Dolan with you from Southtown Bowl in Bloomington, Minnesota. And here is our #1 qualifier, Pat Healey Jr., and he will take on the winner of our semifinal match, Mark Van Meter, who beat Chris Barnes 232-213. Now Healey has elected to start first, Fred.
One of the real heavy roll bowlers, very, very, very focused type player.
On lane 45, first frame for Healey.
A little too heavy of a roll. That's what leaves that 4-pin. When you've got that ball rolling a little too heavy, break the wrist back a little bit, take a little bit off, and make it just roll to the pocket.
Jeff Lynn from Lynn Shoes.
What a great shoe this company makes. I'll tell you, one of the best bowling shoes ever in the history of our sport.
In fact, Healey's opponent, Mark Van Meter, is wearing a couple of Lynn shoes that he's had for, what did he tell you, Fred, 20 years?
22 years he's had those shoes. He said they're like bedroom slippers. He hates to take them off.
Healey opens with a spare in the first, and now there they are. They wear well, I assume.
22 years. Now, how good is that? How many pairs of shoes you know you can wear for 22
different
years?
shoes.
Yeah. And he uses those different color, different shoes, and different approaches too. But he has to wear shoes a long time before he'll use them in competition.
Van Meter's first ball in the championship match. Just like in the semifinal. Remember when he opened with 5 in a row against Barnes.
Well, I'm impressed with his focus and playing that outside angle. You're playing for the National Amateur Championship. You get right out there on the 3 board and throw it up at the pocket. That takes experience. That's why this man can do it. He's got the experience.
2 in a row? Yeah, 2 in a row for Van Meter. Tell us about the lane conditions here all week, Fred.
Well, as you know, 209 led the qualifying, Pat Healey, and when you keep these people down at 209, we make the lanes very demanding. We put a lot of oil on the outside edges. If you're standing left and you throw it too far right, too far being more than 2 boards, you're going to pick 6 off on the right. You either get out to the right and point it up, or get in and keep a tighter line with a big heavy roll, but you have no room for error, not more than 2 boards.
And you do that intentionally, correct, to prepare them for international competition.
Accuracy is always and always will be the #1 key to this sport.
Healey in the second. Yeah, his first strike.
Watch how he takes his time very methodically. This man sets his feet. Nice, easy start. Look at the focus. Look at that focus. His head's looking a nice, smooth, easy motion. Stays down at the line. Really stays down, and the wrist comes through nice and firm, right up through toward the ceiling. Stays right down on the shot.
Healey, another product from the program at Wichita State. In fact, Fred, he says that he's been inspired by Gordon Vatican of Wichita State. Says Vatican helped him both with his physical and his mental game.
A lot of us have been inspired by Gordon Vatican. He's truly the greatest coaches in the sport of bowling, one of the greatest people in our sport.
Third frame strike for Pat Healey Jr. So he's got the double, and now back to Van Meter.
It was evened up the match again and put the pressure back on Mark. This is the first time he's had any pressure since the start of the opening match. See how he handles it.
Van Meter, a member of the Albuquerque Hall of Fame, and now with something else on his mind, looking for the National Amateur Championship.
Now he'll move to the left. Make that spare.
And he gets the spare in the third, Van Meter. Also in the crowd tonight, Les Woyko, the president of the BPA of Minnesota.
What a job they've done
Don't
for
they?
Team USA.
Great support, aren't they?
$25,000 to go to Japan. They've done a wonderful job.
Through 3 frames. Now Van Meter in the fourth.
Bounced right back, put it in the pocket, almost tripped the 4 out. This man can bowl. This guy is a real nice bowler. He throws very few errant shots. In the course of a day, when you're throwing 120 shots, and you throw 100 of them around that pocket, you're hard to beat.
Now a bowler like this, Fred, from... Look out! Oh, he missed it. A big miss from Van Meter. I'll get to that point in a minute, just Fred, but Van Meter, the big open here in the fourth. We'll be right back with the championship match. There's Healey. We'll be right back. Here's our leader, up by 13 pins, Pat Healey Jr. Preparing to roll in the fourth. Healey very deliberate. This is the third time that Healey's been on Team USA. But looking for the first National Amateur Championship. And he gets it here in the fourth.
Here's what that big roll does for you a lot of times, Bob. You notice he arced that. He lost it a little bit. He arced it. But the big roll come back to the pocket. Here it is. He arced it out to the right. He missed a little right, but here it comes. Here comes the big, heavy roll. Just trapped that 5 and carried him off the wall.
There's Healey right on top of the high overall averages here at the National Amateur Championships. 207. And Barnes right behind him, and there's Van Meter.
And John East right
yeah.
here.
And round by round, look at how consistent Healey was.
He's got a lot of experience. He's a fine, fine, fine bowler.
5th frame. Looks to pad the lead. And he will.
I watched this man do exactly that in front of thousands of people at the Pan American Games with Fidel Castro sitting 5 feet behind him. He just went up there and flushed it for the gold medal. What an exciting moment that was. And look at this man. He's just right there, focused, playing at that very high level again. He's a fierce competitor.
Castro probably swallowed a cigar. Van Meter now suddenly struggling.
If you notice on this shot, when he threw that shot and he just pulled right up at the foul line. When you pull up the foul line, you lock the thumb into the ball. It flips the fingers around the ball. No roll, no hook.
Fred, what I was going to ask you before the break, a bowler like Mark Van Meter, we always say from the old school, and another open, 2 in a row now for Van Meter. What does a coach, yourself and the other coaches for Team USA, what can you do with a bowler from the old school? Are they more reluctant to change or to hear advice?
I don't think so. I think what we do, first of all, is we don't try to change them. We try to work with their talents. We try to work with what they do and get to know them as a human being. And talk to them about, over the years in their career, where did they have problems? And then we start attacking little problems without any major changes because they're great players. So just getting to know the athletes, Bob, is the big thing. We don't care whether they're the older player or the younger player. The number one thing with our coaching program is get to know that athlete and work with that athlete.
And you do a lot of that in Colorado Springs, correct?
We start out, we spend 8 days there in January kicking off the year. And
that's 3 opens in a row. Excuse me, Fred, for interrupting, but 3 open frames in a row for Van Meter.
You know, sometimes when you start going the wrong way, your mind starts thinking, and that's probably the main thing we'll work with Mark is some of us older players, we never had the sports psychologists. We didn't work on focus and concentration and proper breathing and mental imagery. And so we're momentum players. So he had his momentum going, everything was fine. As soon as the momentum shifted, and maybe that's something that he and I will have the opportunity to talk about with Jerry Edwards, with all the rest of our coaching staff. We'll get a chance to really work on that facet of the game. And you work on that facet for the rest of your life.
Now, when will things really pick up for 1995? So you'll go to Colorado Springs in January?
Yes, in January. What another shot there by Pat. I mean, how can you throw it any better? That man's locked in. He's the national amateur champion.
Yeah, even with the open frames, a lot of help for Van Meter. That's 5 in a row for Healey.
Yeah, that's just a beautiful shot. Yes, we start in January, Bob, and then we have one of our biggest tournaments, and right after that in March we go to Buenos Aires, Argentina, and then we go on and play in the World Championships in July. Let's see if Pat can just keep this going, take this thing out in style.
He's got the huge lead and now looks for 6 in a row.
Got that big overroll. Maybe get a little tentative on that shot, huh? Maybe that pressure's off. What a nice performance this week by this young man. I'll tell you, high average. He deserves to win.
That's right. He was 19-5, Fred, in match play. That ties the U.S. National Amateur Championship record for match play. 19-5.
Yes, he was focused all week. You know, Mark started out with a double. It looked like we had a heck of a match in our hands. He really had the lead, and then here comes the spare, then the 5 or 6 bagger. That just.
It's Pat Healey all the way towards the National Amateur Championship. We'll be right back with the rest of the match coming up. The championship round of the Team USA National Finals is brought to you by the Women's International Bowling Congress, a proud supporter of USA Bowling and Team USA. By Ebonite, where advanced technology has striking results. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, the choice of top amateurs and professionals alike. And by USA Bowling, recognized by the United States Olympic Committee as the national governing body for the sport of bowling. Bob Dolan and head coach Fred Borden back with you from Southtown Bowl in Bloomington, Minnesota. We're winding up our 1994 National Amateur Championship event. Mark Van Meter is going to finish second. He's had 3 open frames in a row here in our championship match.
But there's what great players are made out of, Bob. Even though they're down, it looks like the match is finished. I'll tell you what, there's no give up in class players and world-class players. He can still take it off the sheet for 215.
Put a number up there for Healey to shoot at.
Well, that means that Pat would still have to have a mark here out of the last 3 frames. And we've seen funny things happen in bowling.
We're seeing them tonight.
Yes.
Because Van Meter began the semifinal with 5 in a row. He opened this championship match with a double.
The life of a bowler is fragile sometimes.
For the first time, Healey looks confident. He's not licking his lips and stuff like that.
Will the other members, Fred, of Team USA now look to Pat Healey Jr. as their leader? Is that how they look at the National Amateur Champion?
I'll tell you, we look at it as a team. We look at it as a team. Look at Pat, he's smiling already. He's cracked a little smile. That's not usually what you do till it's over.
Yeah.
So he's sort of starting to feel it. He's thinking to himself.
Now there's his wife in the background, right, Fred?
What a beautiful young lady. You know, they met on a Team USA tour. He met Miriam over there 2 years ago in South Africa.
That's something.
They fell in love. She moved to this country, and now it's husband and wife.
I'll show you Mike Sleds in a minute.
How about another one for Pat Healey Jr.? Also in the crowd tonight, the Vice President of Marketing for DBA Products, Mike Sleds.
They do the lanes here all week long. What a job they do for Team USA. Remo Pichetti and Mike and Randy and the whole staff at DBA. It's just special people to our program, and we want to just thank them. They really are big supporters of the Team USA program.
And DBA is the company, Fred, that's put up the $25,000 for a TV Perfect Game. We're not going to see it here with the men, but maybe in our next show, maybe the women.
Yes, and you know, we use their new Phoenix machine here this week. It's phenomenal. It's another machine by John Davis and the DBA people. They just keep making them better and better. I don't know where it'll stop. I thought the last one,
sure.
I thought it was something that we'd never seen anything any better. And now they've come up with a machine that has a fan in it. It cleans the lane, takes the old oil off and the dirt, and then blows the lane dry and applies the oil right behind it. And what a machine this is, and does it in 48 seconds a lane.
My. Well, it's now officially over. Pat Healey Jr. is our national amateur champion.
You know, when you take a look at Pat, he's a very versatile player. He was Amateur Bowler of the Year. He's won gold medals in the Pan American Games. He's bowled in front of Castro. He's won world championships, almost set an all-time record in trios in Singapore, with Vince Biondo and Steve Klompkin in '92. He's got a wealth of experience. And what a great young man to have as our national champion. There's Miriam. What a beautiful lady she is. How
Very
proud
pretty.
she's got to be right now. She's got to really be excited. Just moved here last year, and here she is with her husband being the champion of the United States.
Now Van Meter, of course, disappointed by the result of this, but very proud, as he told both of us before the show, Fred, very proud to be a member of 1995 Team USA.
I'm sure if someone had said, Mark, at the start of the week, you don't have to bowl, and we're going to allow you to be runner-up, would you go for that?
Say, where do I sign? Probably.
Yes.
You bet. I think you have a good mix on 95 Team USA. I mean, Van Meter here is 41 years old, and you bring in Healey and Chris Barnes in their mid-20s. Of course, your friend John East. Seems like a good combination.
You know what? Out of all the players that are here, I just can't say enough about these athletes and these great amateur players across the United States. Last night we had a chance to talk at our closing banquet, and all I can say is, wow. I mean, these kids are really good. The older people are in there. We have a man on our team, you know, that's over 50 years old.
Right.
So that's what's great about our sport, Bob. The bowling ball and the pins don't know your age.
That's right. Again, Miriam Healey, Pat Healey Jr.'s wife, watching her husband win the National Amateur Championship. Healey will wrap it up here in the 10th as Van Meter finished with a 172 after winning the semifinal 232 to 213 over Barnes.
Say to Gordon Vatican, how proud are you, Gordy? I have 2 out of 3.
You bet.
You know, what a job he does down at Wichita, that program. Unbelievable. He really inspires these young players to greatness, not to being good, to greatness, to being the best in the world. He puts it in their brain, Sal. He works with them. He shows them how to do it. It's a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 year program to get that great. If you're already good, and he shows them, gives them the blueprint.
Well, not the way that our new national amateur champion wants to finish, but he walks away with the job well done. And a congratulatory handshake from the runner-up, Mark Van Meter. There's our national amateur champion, Pat Healey Jr., and we'll be back in a moment to meet him and talk with him. Stay with us, please. Here he is, your national amateur champion, Pat Healey Jr. Welcome back to Bloomington, Minnesota. I'm Bob Dolan. Pat, congratulations. How does this hit you?
Well, it hits me real good. I was very happy with how I performed all week, and this just tops it. It culminates my effort.
Yeah, you seemed to be on your game all week long, didn't you? You pretty much ran away from the rest of the field.
Well, I don't know about running away. I mean, the last block I bowled 4 good games when I needed to, and it put me out in front by quite a bit. But there was a real strong field, and I'm just thrilled to death to be where I'm at.
What were you thinking in the championship match when Mark came out and opened with a double, and then he had some problems? What were going on in your mind?
Well, I mean, he shot 230, I guess, the match before against Chris, playing a spot in the lane that wasn't there all week. So I didn't know what quite to think coming in, but I just try to stay on my target and on my game and make great shots, and it worked out.
Well, let's bring in Max Skelton, the president of USA Bowling, who has been here all week long and a great supporter, of course. Max, nice to see you.
Thank you, Bob. It's good to see you. Pat, it's been a pleasure all week watching you bowl. I've traveled with you before. I know that you can represent this country very well because you're one of the few people I know of that Castro had to spend time pinning a medal to, and we appreciate that. I'm proud of you for now being national amateur champion. It means that you'll represent our country as the best amateur bowler in the United States for the year 1995. It goes without saying I'm going to enjoy traveling with you, and I know that as we go to other places like Buenos Aires and Mexico and the FIQ in Reno, you'll do this country proud. We're very pleased with it. If you'll hold this, Bob, I have a jacket that I want to present to Pat. It says on it, 1994 National Amateur Champion. It means, of course, he was selected in the 1994 National Finalist Tournament, and it means further that he will then represent this country in 1995 all over the world, and it'll be quite an honor and also a burden on him to keep his game sharp and to allow people to shoot at him instead of him trying to follow them. Pat, here's your jacket.
Max, we have to work on your camera shyness, I think. Pat, I bet that'll fit you just fine, huh?
Yes, it will. I've been wanting one of these ever since I found out about Team USA, so now I got it.
Beautiful. Why don't you try it on for us? I'd like to ask Mark Van Meter a question, the runner-up. Mark, I know it's probably tough at the moment, but if you can put the week in perspective, here you are. You're a new member of Team USA.
Well, it's been a long week, and I don't have too much to say other than Spears were real tough.
He's a tough one, though, and a good champion.
Yeah, Pat bowled well all week, so he comes down to the end and he came through. So
enjoy your year with Team USA. Pat, once again, congratulations. Our national amateur champion, ladies and gentlemen, Pat Healey Jr. For Coach Fred Borden, I'm Bob Dolan. So long, everybody.